In the pitch-black water, a mile beneath the surface, a creature is speaking in a language made entirely of light it does not create. What does it mean when an animal that lives in near-total darkness has evolved one of the most sophisticated visual communication systems on Earth? The Humboldt squid, Dosidicus gigas, is a 6-foot carnivore that hunts in the oxygen-starved twilight zone of the eastern Pacific. It lives where sunlight becomes a memory, where most animals have abandoned color altogether. And yet, across its muscular body, waves of red and white pulse in rapid succession. Strobe-like flashes ripple down its arms. Patterns flicker and vanish in less than a second. This is not bioluminescence. The squid produces no light of its own. What it does is far stranger. Embedded in its skin are millions of specialized cells called chromatophores, tiny sacs of pigment surrounded by muscle fibers that can expand or contract in milliseconds. Beneath those lie iridophores, cells that act like biological mirrors, reflecting and refracting whatever ambient light exists. Together, they form a living display screen. The squid does not glow. It manipulates contrast, reflection, and shadow with a speed and precision that defies the environment it inhabits. And it does this in a place where, by all logic, no one should be watching. Scientists first began documenting Humboldt squid behavior in the late 20th century, but it was not until deep-sea submersibles and low-light cameras improved that researchers could observe what happens when these animals hunt together. What they found was not the solitary ambush predator they expected. It was coordination. It was signaling. It was something that looked disturbingly like strategy. When Humboldt squid hunt, they do so in groups, sometimes dozens, sometimes hundreds. They rise from the deep during the night, ascending into the upper water column where prey is more abundant, but light still barely penetrates. The squid form loose, shifting formations. They do not attack chaotically. They communicate. A squid preparing to strike will flash white, bright and sudden, visible even in the murk. Its body pulses with rapid chromatic changes, red to white to red again, cycling faster than a heartbeat. Other squid in the group respond. They mirror the pattern or shift their own displays in apparent reply. Then, almost in unison, they move. The prey, small fish, krill, even other squid, experiences something few humans can imagine. In the faint downwelling light from the surface, shapes appear. Not glowing shapes, contrasting ones. The darkness is not uniform anymore. It is interrupted by flashes of pale movement, by silhouettes that seem to vanish and reappear. The flashing does not illuminate the squid. It disorients the target. It creates the illusion of multiple attackers, or makes it impossible to track a single individual. By the time the prey registers what is happening, 10 arms lined with suckers and razor-sharp beaks are already closing in. But the color changes are not just for the prey. They are for each other. Dr. William Gilley, a biologist at Stanford University's Hopkins Marine Station, has spent years studying Humboldt squid off the coast of California and Mexico. His team has documented behaviors that suggest these animals are doing more than reacting to stimuli. They appear to be exchanging information. When one squid flashes white, others in proximity adjust their hunting trajectories. When a squid turns deep red, it often precedes a sudden retreat or a shift in the group's movement pattern. Red may signal aggression or competition. White may indicate intent to attack or coordinate. The exact syntax is still unknown, but the structure is undeniable. This is not the behavior of a mindless predator. This is something closer to syntax. What makes this even more unsettling is the speed. Humboldt's squid can cycle through chromatic changes up to 4 times per second. A single hunting sequence might involve dozens of distinct visual signals occurring across multiple individuals in less than 10 seconds. The squid are not just flashing randomly. They are responding to each other's displays in real time, adjusting their behavior based on what they see. In an environment where sound does not travel well and chemical signals diffuse slowly, vision, manipulated through contrast and reflection, becomes the primary language. And they are doing this with a walnut-sized brain. The central question is not whether the squid are communicating. The evidence for that is strong. The question is how much they understand what they are communicating. Are these signals reflexive, hardwired responses to environmental triggers? Or is there a degree of intentionality, an awareness of the message being sent and the effect it will have? We do not know. And that is the problem. Cephalopods, the group that includes squid, octopuses, and cuttlefish, are cognitively alien to us. They evolved intelligence independently from vertebrates. Their neurons are distributed throughout their bodies, not centralized in a single brain. An octopus's arms can solve problems without consulting the head. A squid's chromatophores are controlled by both the brain and the peripheral nervous system, meaning some color changes may be deliberate while others are automatic. Parsing the difference is nearly impossible from the outside. But behavior offers clues. Humboldt's squid have been observed engaging in what researchers call flashing contests. 2 individuals facing each other, rapidly cycling through chromatic displays in what appears to be a dominance interaction. No physical contact occurs, no bites, just light and color, used as a weapon or a warning. This suggests the displays carry meaning beyond mere camouflage or startling prey. They are social, they are tactical. There is also evidence that the squid can suppress their color changes when needed. During certain hunting scenarios, individuals have been seen going almost entirely still and dark, minimizing contrast, effectively vanishing against the background. This is not a passive state. It is a controlled absence of signal, which means the squid are not slaves to their chromatophores. They can choose when to display and when to hide. That word, choose, is where scientists start to get uncomfortable. One of the most chilling aspects of Humboldt's squid hunting is the escalation. Initial flashes may begin slow, exploratory, but as the group converges on prey, the tempo increases. The water fills with rapid pulses of white and red, a chaotic strobe effect that fragments perception. Survivors of close encounters with Humboldt's squid, divers who have had the misfortune of being in the water during a feeding event, describe it as hypnotic and terrifying. The flashing does not just signal danger, it overwhelms the senses. It is as if the squid are weaponizing confusion itself, and in the aftermath, the water goes dark again. The squid descend. The show ends. What remains unknown is whether the coordination we observe is learned or instinctive. Humboldt's squid live only 1 to 2 years. They don't have long childhoods. They don't appear to be taught by parents. And yet, young squid integrate seamlessly into hunting groups, flashing in sync with adults they have never met before. This implies the behavior is largely genetic, pre-programmed, but the flexibility of their signaling, the context-specific adjustments, suggests experience plays a role too. We're watching something that operates on a spectrum between instinct and intelligence. We can't yet determine where on that spectrum it falls. There's also the question of what happens when the light is gone entirely. In the deepest parts of their range, where no sunlight penetrates at all, Humboldt squid still hunt. They still flash. But what are they flashing for? Each other or something else we have not considered? Some researchers hypothesize that in absolute darkness, the squid may be using their chromatophores in conjunction with faint bioluminescent organisms in the water, bacteria, plankton, jellyfish, to create just enough contrast for their signals to be visible. Others suggest the squid might be detecting the faint infrared or thermal signatures of their own displays, though this remains speculative. What's certain is that even in conditions where human technology struggles to capture any image at all, these animals are still communicating visually, which raises a disturbing possibility. We may only be seeing a fraction of what they are actually saying. The Humboldt squid does not fit neatly into our existing frameworks for understanding predation or communication. It is not using sound like wolves or dolphins. It is not relying on scent like sharks. It is not even using bioluminescence like the anglerfish or lanternfish that share its habitat. It is using absence and presence, dark and light, red and white, as a dynamic, rapid-fire code that operates faster than most animals can even process. And it is doing so in a place we have barely begun to explore. The ocean below 200 meters remains one of the least understood ecosystems on the planet. We have mapped more of the moon's surface than the deep sea. What we know about Humboldt squid comes from brief, expensive glimpses, minutes of footage captured during submersible dives, tag data from animals that may or may not represent typical behavior, stranded individuals washed ashore after death. We are assembling a portrait from fragments. What we can say is this: the Humboldt squid has evolved a form of communication that should not work in its environment, but does. It suggests cognitive complexity we did not expect in an animal with such a short lifespan. It hunts with a level of coordination that implies not just reaction, but anticipation. And it does all of this while living in a world we can barely access, let alone understand. Somewhere tonight, 1,000 feet down, a squid is flashing. Another answers. The water fills with light that is not light, with signals we can observe but not decode. The hunt begins, and we still do not know what they are saying to each other in the dark.